News.
Okay, welcome. We are back learning Hanukkah BeSiyon at shul.com, and we are discussing what Hacham Salman Mutzafi used to do. That's the father of Hacham BeSiyon Mutzafi, what he used to do before Hanukkah. We are up to Hadlakat Nerot. Amar li Moavi, my father told me, she'oreach hamagia lechol ledalun bebait ba'al habayit. Let's say someone's coming over your house for the holiday to eat, to sleep over. O ben etzel aviv, the son with the father. V'hatan etzel hamiv, or you with your father-in-law. Mikivan v'chol tziracham mutalim al ba'al habayit, because everything's being taken care of the ba'al habayit. Eno tzarich l'shatef behotzaat hashemen. You don't have to put any money for the shemen. Ki somechu al ba'al habayit bakov v'gam hanerot bichlal zeh, and he brings amud retzeh. So it's very good. So you know, on the holiday you're going places, Salman Mutzafi, you are all set. We were reading today in the morning from Ta'amei Minhagim. He was mentioning that a person should give a peruta. That was one of the other customs, but we follow over here Hacham Mutzafi and his horaot. Next thing, hadlakat ner hadlaka kodem haberachot. Minhag Yisrael hadik haner hamshamesh hadlakat ner kodem haberachot ala hadlaka. You light the shamash before you make the beracha. What do you do? What do I mean? Here he's talking about a shamash, that's a candle, right?
Shamash that you're holding.
A holding. I use the extended, what do you call the lighter, the long lighter. So I use that. So because my shamash is on the oil, on it. So I'm not taking the oil thing to move it. So I use that as my. But he says, use a candle. He says you don't make a beracha on that one. The beracha is on the being madlik, the actual nights. He says, you understand?
So you madlik the shamash first.
No beracha.
Instead of beracha,
and then start lighting. Exactly. And we read yesterday that when you're lighting from the left to the right. Always. The left is the new numbers.
When you put from the right to the left, you light left to the right.
You light right, exactly. Now, let's say you're going to light the shamash after you make the beracha. It's a hefsek. You make the beracha, then you go light with the matches. No, don't do that. So he says some have the custom, well, while I'm saying the beracha, one of the kids or someone else in the house is lighting that. And that was a custom of Hacham Salman Mutzafi. And I found that, I started doing this last year when we got the book. Why? Because I like to get my kids involved on the mitzvot. So you tell the young kids they're never allowed to touch matches and everything. Tell them, oh, you could light it, it's okay, you do it with proper supervision.
We all have a menorah from the school.
Yeah, but we're Sfaradim. We don't do it. You should do at home only one. You have to teach them. You go, okay, yeah, you only do one Hanukkah. We do not do multiple Hanukkahs. Only even for the kids. Yes, you tell them that our custom is not like the Ashkenazim, and that we only do one. We don't light more, because by teaching them that you do it, then they start to believe it. I understand that the schools have the Ashkenaz teachers and everything. Baruch Hashem, they're our brothers. They have their own customs. There's nothing wrong with it. But by us, we have to know our customs. We say no. We do it a solid one for the whole family. And that's how the Sfaradim do it. Amidah b'shat berachot. You have to stand up when you do the berachot. Nahagu sheb'shat berachot ala hadlaka. While they were doing the berachot on it, omdim hamadlik v'chol bnei beto ala hadlakim. Everybody stands up for the beracha of the hadlik ner Hanukkah. Dugmat hakohen hamadlik et hamenorah bebet hamikdash. Just like a kohen, he stands up when he does the shaya omed bet hadlaka. Birkat hadlaka samuch lahadlaka. Okay. Berachot hadlaka samuch lahadlaka. Da'ato shel Moravi, my father's Hacham Salman Mutzafi's ideology was lo hayta nocha mehaminhag shenahagu chachmei mekubalim lavrech techla ladlik ner Hanukkah be'adlik ner. He goes, he didn't like the custom of the mekubalim to make the beracha ladlik ner Hanukkah, then to light the candle. So what they do, they would like ladlik ner Hanukkah, start lighting, and then say she'asa nisim. Salman says he didn't like the data mekubalim that did this. And then the first night shechianu. You make a beracha, then you over la'asiyatan to doing it. Over to go do it. And he brings them Pesachim Zayin, Amud Bet. He brings Sukkah, Lamed Tet, Amud Aleph. He brings Megillah, Kaf Aleph, and Menachot, Lamed Hey, Amud Bet. When you say a beracha and then you light, then he goes another beracha, you start to get a little bit, did I say it? Did I do it? Did you answer amen? He says, Hacham Salman says, make it easy. Say all the berachot, b'nichuta, easily, focus, and then light. and we're going to go further on how, like, we'll come to it now. אלא בכל לילה מלילות החנוכה. קודם שידליק את הנרות יברך שתי ברכות, 2 ברכות. ברכות אשר קידשנו במצוותיו בציוונו להדליק נר חנוכה, which is ראשי תיבות נחל. We're going to talk about some of the kavanot coming up. נחל, להדליק נר חנוכה. וברכה שעשה ניסים לאבותינו באים מהם בזמן הזה. ובלילה הראשון יוסיף ברכה שלישית קודם ההדלקה, והיא ברכה שהחיינו וקיימנו וגימנו לזמן הזה. ומיד לאחר שיסיים הברכה לברך הכל, ידליק ולא יפסיק בין הברכות להדלקה. Okay? Don't stop. When you finish the barakot, go light right away. And don't...
Now when you say the bracha,
yeah?
after you say the bracha, you start lighting?
After you say the bracha.
And then you say, what?
After you finish the 3 barakot, or 2.
Brachot,
Yeah?
And then you light
Then start
the
lighting.
candle.
Yes.
You finish the lighting the candle, then you say Hanerot Alalu? Or
Yes.
when you say
Oh, so he's going to get to that. He's actually the next one. It's perfect. He'll get to it right now. Now, remember, the mitzvah is the first light. So once you lit the first one, you're all set. According to the halacha, if a person only lit one every single night, he is good.
So you light the first one and then you say...
You can say, once you light the first one, everything else is you can do. That's why usually the father or the balabait does the first one, and then the kids and everyone else can do the rest of it. Minhag amirat hanerot halalu. Saying hanerot halalu, minhago shel Mor Avizal, the custom of Ham Salman was shmiyad la'achar hadlakat ner rishon, right after they lit the first candle. Hitchil v'amar nosach hanerot halalu. Right away, he lit the first one, he starts to sing hanerot halalu, and then everyone else finished the other candles. V'chein ikpid me'od ben noscha. He was very careful in the way it's written. Ve'etik b'sidro et hanosach hamiduyak shel amirat hanerot halalu. Bo yesh lamid vav tevot. There's 36 words in the tefillah of hanerot halalu keneged the 36 candles that you're going to light. 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Milevad hatevot hanerot halalu. It's 36 plus the words hanerot halalu. Okay? And he says, lo pachot velo yoter. It's exactly that. Mikevan shehem keneged lamid vav nerot shel mitzvah, sheyesh bechot shemonat leilot haChanukah. So he, I guess, made some adjustments in the tefillah from the other sidurim. I don't know if they have it. Let's take a look. Is there 36 words? Let's find out. I'm not even sure. Let's count it and see if this is what the way they have it down today. This is the Avodat Hashem. Let's go Hanerot Halalu. Let's count it right now. So he says so you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 49 plus 2, 51. But he dropped the first 2. So this text was why Ham Salman Mutzafi would change it. He made adjustments to this tefillah. I don't know if he has it in here. Maybe we'll see it. But he made it that it would have exactly 36 words. That's the way that he held. So I guess there were some extra words. Maybe he took out the words al or whatever. We'll see if we get up to it. But this one currently does not have it in Avodat Hashem. It's not actually the one that he would do. Amirat v'hinoam zayin pe'amim. We were reading this today, one of the segulot. So achar amirat nosach hanerot halalu yomar mizmor shir Hanukkah habayit leDavid. So we say that Hanukkah Adon Mimcha Adonai Ki Dilitani V'lo Samachta Oyevaj. You do the whole thing. It's Tehillim Perek Lamed, and you say the whole thing entirely. Ad Le'olam Odeka. Okay. V'acharav miyad Yomar Sheva Pamim Pasuk V'hinoam. You say V'hinoam 7 times. ומנהגו של מור אביזל היה להוסיף עוד פעם אחת מזמור יושב בסתר עליון כולו. אוקיי, וכן המנהג נכון. אנחנו נאמר פסוק וינועם 7 פעמים, או פרק יושב בסתר עליון פעם אחת בכוונה, או שטוב מעט בכוונה בהרבות ולא בהרבות. Okay, so he says here that you say v'hinoam 7 times and yoshev beseter 1 time. If you look at the other Sfarim, it will say you say v'hinoam and yoshev beseter 7 times. The thing he says, tov me'at bekavana meharbot below kavana. He says better to do the 7 times v'hinoam and yoshev beseter 1 time, quietly, slowly, word by word, than to do 7 times back to back.
And the end of everything, to do it the last one, but to do it 7 times, to do it once.
Do it once. You say v'hinoam 7 times. V'hinoam is the pasuk that comes right before the Perik Sadi Aleph of Yoshev Beseter. It's the pasuk right before. So he says, say that pasuk 7 times and Yoshev Beseter 1 time. And you know what? If you're going to do it 1 time, say it slowly. Read it in English. Read it in French or in any language that's good for you. So you understand the words and you see it. And he's very big on that. Hacham Mutzafi is always big. Better to understand what you're doing than to do a lot and not have any clues to what's going on. So that's it. So he says it comes out 7 times v'hinoam, 1 time Yoshev Beseter, not 7. It's important to know because his father was one of the biggest mikubalim, and he taught many of the big Rashi Yeshivot, and the rabbis in Porat Yosef. So
Who wrote the book? Him or his father?
so this was written by the son, but he mentions his father's book. But his father didn't write too many Sfarim. Most of them were written by his son, but they have his Torah. Amidat piyut ya hatzel yona mechaka. I don't know that piyut, but he says here, Minhag Sefaradim ubikad Yosef Bavel. It's an Iraqi custom. It's funny, I am Iraqi, but because we were in Lebanon for like 50 years, my parents, we took all the Lebanese customs. I have no Iraqi customs that I remember because my grandfather was born in Iraq, but he went to Lebanon at a young age. But Cham Mutzafi is Iraqi, Cham Obadiah Yosef, Iraqi, Cham Yudah Fetaya, they were all Iraqi. Okay, so Minhag Sefaradim Vikad Yosef Bavel Lomad Achar Hadakat Nerot HaPiyut Yu Hatzel Yona Mechaka. או יא הצל יונה מחכה, אשר חובר על ידי רבי יהודה הלוי, that was the author, ז"ל גדול משורי הספרד, he was a Spanish songwriter, וכולו שירת געגועי כנסת ישראל למלכה. It's talking about how Am Yisrael wants to get the queen, go to the queen, ובהיותה לכודה בין הגויים בגלותה, מתוך זיכרון ישועותיו ונפלאותיו של הקדוש ברוך הוא עמנו בחג חנוכה, מתעוררים הלבבות לבקש רחמים לפניו שיגאלנו גאולת עולמים. It's a song asking for the גאולה. ומור אבי ז"ל היה משוררו בקול נעים ונורא ומזיל דמעות מעיניו באמינותו. He would cry when he would say it. It's you know Ham Salman, you see some of the pictures of him, such a tamim, pashut. They you know, I'm going to end up taking you on a little bit of a road here on this, but it speaks to me. Ham Salman, always the way he acted and his way he interacted was always something that spoke to me. It's something that actually was very, very nice. I read.
What is his name? Rabbi Korach, in his book, he bring that he remembered the Zkenim when they used to pray, especially talking about the Noraim.
How old is Rabbi Korach?
He passed away.
Oh, he passed away.
A few years ago.
3 years ago.
Maybe, 3, I think 4 or 5
3, 4
years ago. I used to go to Israel every time I go to him. So he said in the book that when Yamim Noraim came, he said the simple Jew, that coming to the shul, those old people that they don't know, maybe one Masechet they know, the Naso, but he said he just start, if he was sitting next to them and hear them, kind of tefillah, he feel like nothing for next to them.
He
said these people,
they were pashut. That emunah pashuta. Emunah pashuta. That's Rabbi Mansur says this all the time. He says, today there's even a minor thought that we think we're better than our grandfathers or great-grandfathers because we're learning more everything. It's so wrong. They had so much emunah, so much bitachon. When they needed something, how did they pray?
My grandmother, she didn't know how to read, but you see her saying Birkat Hamazon. You feel like she's talking to Hashem. She see him. She's looking up. She's doing like this. She's this.
How many times?
We get to say it.
Even if we say it.
Yeah. By the way, we're us. Look at us. We have the Sidur with Hebrew and English, the Pirushim, everything. We finished saying Birkat Hamazon. We don't even know if we did it. You think to yourself, wait, did I say Birkat Hamazon? Did I say Ya'aleh Ve'evo? Is it Shabbat today? He doesn't know if he sold his Hametz. The guy's in a completely different place. It goes to show you, because they used to put their heart into things. Today we're doing actions, but it's a lot of routine.
We used to consume a lot.
There's a story about somebody.
It's all about the education that we have. For example, in the States, it's all about how much do you consume. You consume, so it's the same thing. You take this mindset to your relationship.
The consuming.
The consuming. I consume. So it's like, how many pages did I do today? But did you pay attention to what you're reading? It's not about like you said, and I really connect to it. It's not about the quantity; it's about the quality.
Always, our religion is quality.
The end goal, it's not even the quality. What are we trying to get? To be too close to Hashem, to feel Hashem, to be connected. And this is what they did without nothing, not even knowing how to read.
But I want to tell you something. For example, what you said with the Salacha. I'm really curious because sometimes I used to come back really late and light the candles of Hanukkah. Sometimes I'm alone there. I'm exhausted at 1, 2, and my effort, I felt that, if I'm not going to do it 7 times, I feel like I'm like, okay, because I understand fully Hebrew. So I understand every time I read it. So should I also skip it and not do it 7 times?
Well, he says
Because
doing the V'Noam only. He says V'Noam is only one pasuk. He says do that 7 times and the Yoshev said it 1 time.
But the Sheva said there alone, it's like it's powerful.
It's a powerful one. He says to do it 1 time with power. He
Oh,
says
Bana.
now the V'Noam is only the
And everything, just don't do 7 times.
He says don't do 7.
Wow.
And by the way, Hacham Mutzafi is telling you for his father. His father Hacham Salman was an expert in the Kabbalah. You know, we're not. Remember, we opened the Sfarim here. We're not just fly by. I heard, he told me. We're going to look and check. And there are other opinions that say do it 7. But we're now learning Hacham Mutzafi. And I want to tell you a story about Hacham Salman. In 1967, prior to 1967, before the 6 Day War, what's not well known to people is that Jews were not able to travel to the Western Wall, to the Kotel. And when they did want to go to the Kotel, or certain parts of the Kotel, they needed to get permission from the Jordanians. Now the Jordanians, what did they do? They gave the authority to allow Jews to go to the Western Wall to only get it done through the church and through the individuals or whatever authorities, it was the cardinal or the bishop or whoever it was in Yerushalayim at the time. They had to go into the church, get the letter from the individual in the church, and then once they got the permission, they would allow them to go and they would question them, what are you going for? What do you want to do? You want to pray? How long are you going to be there for? Now, Hacham Salman Mutzafi wanted to one time go visit the Kotel. So he went to the Jordanians. He spoke Arabic. He went to the Jordanians. They told him to go to church. He said, I can't go to the church. What do you mean go to the church? I'm not allowed to walk into the building. You want me to go inside and go talk to them? I don't want to go inside. I don't want to even go near the building. So they told him, I don't know. They brushed him off. They said, you can't go. He said, you sure? He said, yeah. He said, okay, no problem. It was around 1967, early 67 this happened. He said, no problem. He said, can someone take me in the old city so I can see the Kotel? I don't need to visit it in face to face. I just want to see it. He went to go visit. He went to the top of one of the hills where he had a good eye at where it was, because the Kotel, the way it looks now, is not the way it looked in 67. There was much smaller. It was half. There were walls. They cleared out the whole area, and it's going to be even cleared out more, Be'ezrat Hashem. And so he got up to the wall, and he started doing a special kavanah. And it says that there was a group of rabbis from Bavel that when they came from Baghdad, that they wanted to make Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael for only one reason. They wanted to do special kavanot in their tefillah that you could only do in Eretz Yisrael. In Bavel, it's known, they can teach you the kavanah, but you don't do it in the tefillah. So they came, there was a group of rabbis, they all came from Bavel when they all made Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael, and they went to the kavanot. He said, if you're not going to let me go, and you want the church to have to approve it, no problem. Starting from today, I'm going to change it all. He went up, he requested from the Borei Olam, and he did special takanot. He started crying and crying for hours, sitting there crying. He was doing kavanot with his hands, tefillot. After he finished, he said everything was accepted, let's go. A few days later, the war broke out, the 6 Day War. They took everything back, and they started to go to the Kotel. This is Hacham Salman Mutzafi. Wow. It's brought down in the book on the Galut and Geulah. He brings it down. I heard Hacham BeSiyon say it himself on the recording. Go to show you, you don't understand the value of the tefillot. We don't understand the value. We see it secondary to the material, to the physical. Hacham Salman said, in his simple clothing, didn't wear a tie, didn't even wear no black hat. He just went up there with kavanot, praying to God, saying, God, if I came here, we all came here, then it's time, we need this. Hashem said, you're right, we need it. And it came. Unbelievable. Le'ilu nishmato. Minhag Sfaradim. Okay, that's what we said, that one. Hidbonut ban-nerot. Looking at the nerot. Minhag tov v'nachon להתעכב אחר הדלקת נרות חנוכה בכל לילה לפחות חצי שעה. It's nice and good to look at the candles and the lights. I try to sit next to them, I try to look at them and focus at them. Look at the light. It's very good. And read about the miracles. Read about the story of Hanukkah, what happened. It's very good for the neshama. For your family. Okay. תפילת על הבנים לאחר הדלקת נרות חנוכה, מגודל מעלת הדלקת נרות. What is the value? The zakot לבנים תלמידי חכמים. That you should have children תלמידי חכמים. This is brought down in the Gemara. Al ken, Bishat nerot Hanukkah dolkim, while the candles are being lit, yivakesh ha'adam al banav, shiyu kulam tzadikim v'chachamim. You should pray that all of your children are going to become tzaddikim and follow Torah mitzvot while it is being lit. So you have to make that prayer verbally. You know, a lot of times we talk about doing prayers here, and I follow up with some of the people here. Baruch Hashem, we have now 7-8 people growing in the group that we have that are learning with us. And I asked them, I said, did you follow up? You're still doing it? And sometimes they tell me, yeah, I don't know, I did it. I said to them, listen, your verbal prayers are taking words and making them into a physical item. Devarim, that's what's called davar. So when you say a tefillah, davar, it's a thing. And you're able to carry that over to your children. You should do it. Take a moment, say, God, I want my children to follow Torah mitzvot. I want my children to have yirat shamayim, have emunah, bitachon. You'd be surprised how far these tefillot go, and especially when the candles are being lit. Always gather them. He mentioned yesterday when we were learning that he would wait. He waited one time 1 hour because one of his young kids were not home. Salman, he would wait 1 hour because one of the kids was out with their friend or something, wasn't home. He said, I'm waiting. We're not lighting till everybody's home. It was past the time even. Past the time, but he said, I'm waiting till everybody's home. This is going to. He says, give one of your young children to light the shamash. So they can also be involved in it.
Even the shamash.
Even the shamash.
Not the first night.
All the night. Let the kids light the shamash. It's no problem. Shamash is no.
Like when you say the bracha, you need.
Oh, so what you do? No, but you can have them light the shamash. We said before the bracha. Shamash can be lit before. Now I'm talking about the shamash that he's holding, not the one that's inside. And let's say he has oil, it's not being held. So if it's just a candle or like a lighter, it doesn't matter. That's okay. It doesn't matter. But he can light it before the beracha.
Now when he said la'irat nishmatam,
yeah.
What exactly it means?
So when you are praying and you are for your kids, you are me'ir the neshama. You're taking from the light during the light, and you're making a tefillah that their neshama should have a light to it. You know, there's some people. Everyone has a neshama. But some people, you know, he goes to shul, he goes to learn, he doesn't feel anything. Nothing, no feeling. You try to grill it to him, explain to him, he doesn't get it. And some other people, you tell him a small hiddush, the guy he blows up, the guy loves it. So there's a lot of reasons why this happens. One of it is because there's a lot of tum'ah, that in the world, a lot of tum'ah that comes to a person. Tum'ah comes from listening to the wrong music, looking at the wrong things, eating the wrong food. Sometimes you're eating foods, you think they're kosher, they're not kosher. It's also eating foods that are seemingly kosher, but they're not permitted. There could be tirumot, ma'asrot, there could be hallah, there could be ma'aseh, there could be so many different things. It could be from shmita. There's a lot of things. Not everyone's so well aware. So he thinks he's consuming something. Oh, it's very good, it's very good. He doesn't know. And so these things are mitameh the body. He says when you pray while the candles are lit, it's a easy pass to be me'ir the neshama, to put light on their neshama. So even if they're doing things that maybe not perfect, this allows it's an easy pass. It's a quick route to get them to have more light on their neshama, that they suddenly love the Torah a little bit more, and they love the religion a little more. And if there's anything that we see what's happening in Eretz Yisrael with Hamas, and really what's happening with the support that we're seeing around the world, is that it's pretty clear probably to everybody right now, any Orthodox or Torah Jew that exists in the United States today, that we are guests here. It's pretty clear when you see some of the protests and what they're saying out there, it's very clear that we are guests here. And you know, in the past, I've said this before, even from the pulpit, and and we've spoken about it. People have brushed me off on it. It's only now that people are waking up and saying, "Wow, this is kind of awkward."
We're guests here. Where?
We're guests in this country. The only home that we have is Eretz Yisrael. That's it.
How do you see it from what is happening?
Because I see that from the protests that are going around, we don't have the support that I would have expected from people that saying, "Oh, look what's happening."
Everybody should get up now and said, it's not question. Hamas have babies there. They have old people there. They should scream themselves. Let them go. You know, Israel is right. And support us.
This is because they don't have certain empathy to Israel. But what it means about the Jews of the United States.
I'll tell you why. Because we are the minute and the minority. We're not the majority in any way. Yeah. And when something like this happens, and you can't get people to condemn this and to support at least self-defense and the Jewish people, what do you think? If they're doing it this way, then if something happened, has v'shalom,
here,
lo alenu, never here, but But what I mean, if something were to happen, what do you?
When the Holocaust
because
happened, what they did anything.
But this goes to show, and what I see even further is that it's not even a lack of support; it's support for the other side, which is even more ridiculous. It's not, leave aside, the shav al ta'aseh adif. They say sometimes the person doesn't do anything. Okay, doesn't do anything, but they're supporting. And sometimes I've seen already at least 5 to 10 clips already they're not even marching of support of the Palestinians. They're saying down with the Jews or kill the Jews. Meaning it already went to meaning that's even like, what does this have to do with anything? Meaning this was a bad. They came in and infiltrated. They're supporting themselves. Okay, you don't want to support Israel, one thing, but what the reality is that this whole thing.
Want you to be there.
This whole thing of the Zionism is a big farce. What do I mean? Is that they say it's Zionist Israel, but really they're saying they hate Jews, but they don't want to say it outright.
Don't want to say exactly.
So what they do? They hate the Zionists. They say, but what does that mean, Zionist? Every Jew is a Zionist. Okay, maybe he's not a Zionist of Theodore Herzl, and I'm no Zionist of Theodore Herzl. Theodore Herzl was not someone that I would look up to. But what I mean, of course, everyone is Sioni. He's praying the Tefillah. How many days? Sion, Eretz Sion, Bonei Yerushalayim. I always wondered, and I wondered these people, especially these Neturah Karta, which I know of some of the opinions of some of the Hachamim that didn't support the government of Israel. You don't have to support the government. I'm not talking about that. I wonder, what are they going to tell Eliyahu Nabi Zachor when he appears and he says, okay guys, it's time to go. And they're going to say, okay, let's go. But he's going to say, hold on a minute. You didn't want the land. You made fun of the land. And I have a feeling they're going to have a big claim and a big problem to deal with Eliyahu Nabi Zachor, because Eliyahu Nabi Zachor is not going to tell them, oh, okay, it's okay. You hated the land your whole life. You spoke all bad about it. Okay, guys, come on. Get on board. To me, that sounds awkward, and I have a feeling that that's not going to happen.
He's not going to call them.
And it's going to be like black and white, like this. Like Eliyahu Nabi is going to basically choose who's in and who's out.
I think everyone is going to be in. I don't think anyone's going to be
I
out.
don't think they're going to
I don't think they're going to be out. I think those people that are not supporting Israel now are going to have a big problem, and I'll show you why I believe this. Is that in the Midbar, what happened in the Midbar? You had the 12 spies that went. 2 of them wanted it. You have Kalev ben Yefuneh and Yehoshua ben Nun, they wanted. The other 10 don't want it. They want nothing to do with the land. No, don't go. And there was a lot of reasons they wanted to keep their leadership. They wanted other things. And they ended up getting punished and they all died. But what else? All the men, 20 to 60 died, with some exceptions. A few people survived. Some exceptions. All the women survived. All of them, because they didn't speak bad about the land. Hashem said, nothing wrong with you. So they all went into the land. It's very surprising. And people don't know that. The women went in.
The wives of the Meraglim stayed.
The women survived. I don't know if every woman in
I thought it was the woman, man, kids, the whole generation for 40 years.
No, the men. 20 to 60, it was men 20 to 60 that died. The women that were that age didn't die. What that means, I don't know if they all lived, but we know that they didn't die, which means there was a gezerah, which means every male 20 to 60 was done. There was no chance. But some of the women, I don't know. I'm not sure. But from I read that they went into the land.
So you're saying that basically whoever spoke bad about Israel is basically Latid level when Mashiach will come?
I'm not saying that because I haven't seen it inside. So I can't say it outrightly, but I can tell you from my learning that if the people, by the way, the next day after the Meraglim came and God made the gezerah that everyone had to say, came a group that said they want to go to Israel. They said, we made a mistake, we made teshuvah, let's go back. Moshe said, it's too late. God changed his mind. And not only that, they offended the land. We were talking in the morning.
Wow.
We were talking in the morning that this is one of the reasons why Rabbi Mansour spoke about this. He said, what happened? He said that when it came to the Torah, what happened? We didn't even see it. When he went to all the nations of the world, they asked what's in it. He said we have gezel. I don't get. Okay, does they have the ni'uf around that? Everyone had a condition as to why they didn't want it. Oh, you can't kill. Okay, I don't want it. Okay, so everyone had a reason. When it came to Bnei Israel, we took it. Na'aseh v'nishma on the spot. They took the Torah. We'll take it. But when it came to the land, we didn't say Na'aseh v'nishma. We asked, can we go take a look? Can we go check it out? Once you look, they had problems with it. I don't know. They're bigger than us. It's too big. It's too hard. They had all these complaints. So that's why, over the course of the Jewish history, we never lost the Torah. Torah has been with us, hasn't changed. We have it from time Moshe. When it came to the land, we lost the land many times because we offended the land, and the land gets offended. The land has feelings. What? You want to make fun of something and then you want to plant in it? But the land is very patient, because the land says, "All right, you can make fun of me. What are you gonna do after 120 years? Oh, you want to come? You want to come here? You want to come here? Okay. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how someone who could belittle the land of Eretz Israel one day say, let's go visit Eretz Israel. I want to go to the Kotel with my family. You're the same guy who says you hate the land of Israel.
Exactly.
You're the one who says the tzava, the tzava, the tzava. Yeah, and they yeshim tov and everything. They sit good, and by the way, and if something happens, what do they do? They say, "Where's the mishnara? Where's mishtara? Where's the tzava?" And I think in my mind, I'm like, this is hakarat tov, or is this kfui tova? I don't understand. And goes to show you, we're not talking about the support of a secular government. I don't think that's something that we're talking about right now. We're talking about the love of Eretz Yisrael, the land in and of itself. And why is this important? Because if you look in the Nevi'im, throughout the whole entire Nevi'im, many of the kings, with some exceptions, a handful of kings, every other one was worse than the next. I mean, avodah zara. There were tons of things, and we don't understand the avodah zara they were doing and everything, because we know from the case of Rav Asher, when he made fun of the king Menashe, he called him his friend Haver. He came to him in a dream that night. He told him, well, "How are you calling me your friend? I'm your friend." He goes, "You don't even know where to cut the hamotzi bread from." And he told Rav Asher where to take the bread, to cut the bread from that piece. Now, so we don't understand it, but the reality is, if you look at the Nevi'im, it was not green pastures living in the time of the prophets or the Melachim. It was a rough. It was a rough.
If
now,
you were in my generation, you run to the office, you pick up your.
Yeah, that was what Menashe told Rav Asher. That's exactly what he told him in the Gemara. Now, what's interesting about this Gemara, about this in the Nevi'im and in the Melachim, is that I always wondered, why do they bother telling us the stories like that? Why don't you just give us a quick synopsis and make it short? Because I believe when I understood on this is that the Hachamim and Sheikh were telling you it's not going to be perfect. Even when you're in the land of Israel, look at what was before. It wasn't perfect. So your expectation of perfection, of everything being exactly the way you expected it to be, we need this, we need that. It wasn't back then, and it's not going to be right now until the Geulah comes. When the Geulah comes, things are going to be. I was actually reading just today. I don't want to go into it too much about the earthquake that's going to be in Eretz Yisrael before the Mashiach appears. I was reading about it just today. Yeah, because only because like when all these things are happening now, I'm looking up all these farim. All this farim.
The Arab village,
Listen, we know one
Do
thing.
you think that, at your opinion, which stage are we right now? Like from what?
Look, there's no way. It says tipach nishmatam shel mechatzvei kitzim. It says in the Zohar that if someone were to give dates, tipach rucham, meaning the Zohar didn't say good things about people that gave dates, so we don't know. But we could look at the Sfarim and we could see a couple of things. What's happening right now is seemingly unprecedented. Never happened before. Never happened.
We live in a crazy time.
We live in a crazy time, and what I find, I mean, we're going to be learning Yehezkel Lamed Chet with the Dona Barbanel Beli Neder, which talks about it in detail. In the Nevu'ah, and he gives you all of it. He talks about different countries that are going to come into the war. He talks about.
Can you do it in the morning?
And he talks about, if you want, we can go through it in the morning tomorrow. We can go through. It's a couple of Pesukim. It's only like maybe 10 Pesukim that are Ikad of Dona Barbanel. Dona Barbanel is a long Perush on it. But he talks about exactly, he tells you which countries are going to come, where they're going to come from. But we do see that a few countries are on the forefront. Besides Israel, you have the Arab countries, you have Iran, which is kind of not with the Arab countries. You have Russia, you have China, you have the United States. You have a lot of things going on here, and they all seemingly have a hand in it. So we don't know, but we do know the Nevu'ah, and it's possible, listen, with Teshuvah, all these Nevu'ot that are tochechot, that things can happen, can go away. 100%, by the way. With Teshuvah, Tefillah, Tzedakah, Ma'abidim et Ruach Gezerah, 100%. If all Am Yisrael has Achdut, and they keep Shabbat, and they keep Shanat HaLashon, you can break all the Gezerot. Huh?
And then what?
We don't know exactly what's going to be, but we do know that before Mashiach comes, Eliyahu Navi Zechotov is going to appear, and when I was reading today in the Sefer, it says that he's going to appear in the Galil, around Tiberia. Why that area? Because that's the last location the Sanhedrin was. Sanhedrin went 10 locations. It landed last by the Kinneret. And Tiberia, he's going to go first to that location. That's going to be his first stop. He's going to come from the Galil, and then he's going to come into the land. So we don't know what's going to be exactly.
It's not so much expensive in there. We should invest there.
Invest there from that. But I thought about it. I think it's still good to invest and buy in Israel if a person could. But it could be also that we're going to be getting our own halakim. You might already have a halak. I might have a halak already. So we might. Let's see. We don't.
No, but what's really interesting is, first of all, about the whole situation that's going on. You hear so many rabbis talking about it, and it's really really confusing by the viewers. Basically, one rabbi is telling you that it's Gog and Magog, another one is telling you no, it's the first step of Gog and Magog, and like people are really.
Somebody say he don't know what he said. If somebody know, he don't say it.
No, but you know, according to the books,
מי שיודע לא אומר, ומי שאומר לא יודע.
אני לא מסכים עם זה, אני אגיד לך למה.
אין נביאים היום, אין נביאים.
זה לא עניין של נביא.
You don't have to be Navi.
You can say, okay, it's תחילת הגאולה, זה, but you can say, this is...
No.
Now Mashiach is gonna come,
it's
a week from now.
to the Mekorot. The Mekorot.
We're looking at the Mikorot. That's the difference. Is that I don't think any individual.
You can say when Mashiach is coming.
No,
you can say,
we don't know. But we do know a few things. We know that he's not coming after the year 6000. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're already at 5784. Okay. Now we know that. So there's not much time. We also know that it says Be'ita Achishena. It could be earlier than that. We also know that there's a lot of pieces that have been put in place that seemingly the writing's on the wall at this point. A person that doesn't see the writing, you're right, we can't say when, but we could say, hold on a minute, let's take a look. In the last 70 years, Jews were located, actually, let's do 90 years.
Yeah, but if somebody telling you now is what it's called, we talk about it, the 9 months or 9 years.
Oh, the 9 months from an Ishmael, yeah, the Ishmael, yeah.
That the Ishmaelim, they control. It could be
so we don't know.
Yes, could be no.
So we don't know.
You can say.
But you'll know. I'll tell you why you'll know. Because right now the Ishmaelim are in charge.
I don't
Yes,
know.
100%.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. You can go to the Kotel. You can go around. You can do.
Okay, so maybe they're not. Maybe they're
Maybe
not.
yes, maybe no. But you have fear, yes. So maybe yes, maybe
Do you
no.
think that we are in control? That it looks like it?
Huh?
Look at the world.
I see the word.
Which one?
But,
what is it?
but
we get excited because
somebody's stopping you.
a soccer, like
Yeah, but
a
if
soccer
you
player
look,
is telling us, "Oh, I'm standing with Israel."
Look,
They're nothing.
so-
but a few years ago, you couldn't go to the Kotel. You couldn't go do anything.
Yeah,
so back then, maybe people said, "Oh, maybe this is the time of they're controlling us.
closer.
They don't let us go to Yerushalayim."
Look, but Yossi,
Maybe it's
the
time.
trajectory, if you look over the last, like I told you, if you look 90 years ago till now, we had Jews all over the world. Today, I think the Jewish people are about 5 countries. If you emptied out 4 or 5 countries, there's almost no Jews around in the world. And we already are the majority in Israel. So the writing's already on the wall. If you seemingly look at all these things, you see that there's a lot of stuff that's already happened. Now again, we don't know. We don't know. Again, no one knows.
Yeah, no one knows.
No one knows.
It's really important
It's
to know.
it's simanim. But to say that the Mashiach is...
I'm going to tell you why it's important. When, for example, first of all, for ourselves, forget about others, okay? When you know that, for example, what you said, at the age of 6,000, and now we're in 570.
5784. So
we have
less than 200, 200 and something years. 200, a little over 200.
years. That it's the end. It's
That's
the end.
maximum, and
That's the
maximum.
maximum. And so when you see it like 200 years, it's nothing. It's the end of the world. So what you get a chizuk, I get a chizuk from it. I know, like, Shai, soon, it's, there's no time to waste.
Yeah.
So
50% chance you're gonna be in Mashiach.
Yeah, there's a 50% chance that I'm going to be a part of Mashiach. So when you look at it in this perspective, and you talk to others about it, like for example, I spoke to a woman today, and she told me, yeah, Mashiach, I told her this, and I told her that. She tells me, wow, like if it's not me, it's my kids. So she got a chizuk to take on herself more tzniut on the spot. It's done on the spot. It's like, wow. It's like, if it's not you, it's your kids.
Yeah.
It's not your kids. Do you care about your grandkids? Of course, it's my blood. She on the spot, she took on herself tzniut. So this is why it's really important to take advantage, because what Hashem is doing all this for? To wake us up, to be v'chadut, to get us closer to Hashem. This is all that.
Listen, God is very patient, and He wants the people to make teshuvah. Believe me. If there's anything that I took from any of the learning I've ever done, is God is Rahum Hanun. He wants everyone to come back. He doesn't want anyone getting hurt. He doesn't want anything bad. But people do things that we know, it's Ron the Sfarim, that upset Him. Certain things, whether it's Avodah Zarah or Siniut, Elohim Shel Elus, Sonezima, Bilam told us. He told us, God doesn't like when the women are not dressed properly. And He said, this holding of Zima, Arayot, He doesn't like it. And when you do it, you're stoking Him. And when you do it in His land, on Shabbat,
that's the worst.
You're stoking Him. You're pretty much telling God, you're sticking a prong in a thing. And lo alenu, this was the result of what happened. And we can't be foolish to say, no, it was nothing, it was a perfect day, everyone was, no, there was tremendous mahlukot, everyone was fighting with each other, they were doing the wrong things, but Baruch Hashem, look how everything's starting to change, the shift is coming. And as more achdut comes in Am Yisrael, people are going to realize who the real issue is, and where the real problem is. The biggest issue is the Yetzer Hara, it's the Satan. And the people need to take upon themselves by learning more. By learning more, you're going to get closer to understanding. No one ever kept Shabbat by not learning Hilchot Shabbat. Nobody ever kept Hilchot Hanukkah without learning Halachot Hanukkah. No one kept Siniut until they learned Siniut. I know people have some understanding, Siniut, you carver this, that, but a person can create a lot of laws in his own mind and create his own religion. So you have to use the Sfarim in order to create the guidelines. And this is the Ikar, by the way. And if there's anything that we could see from this, is that you don't need to be an expert in halacha or Torah to be redeemed or to make teshuvah. Hashem wants your heart. You understand? We're so interested in giving Him everything but the heart. That's the issue. Is that it's much easier to give God everything but our heart.
So
it's much easier to come to shul here, pray the Amidah, and have absolutely no kavanah and just go in and out. It's easy. It's much harder to focus and do less tefillot. But how do we console ourselves? We said we're going to do a lot. And by doing a lot, we comfort ourselves. I finished the Tehillim today. I finished Tehillim. Yeah. Okay, can you repeat one of them? That's what it is. But really, if you focus on the minute and you understand it,
to change one midah.
That's why Rabbi Eliezer Hagadol, he told them, we'll end with this. Rabbi Eliezer Hagadol said, what did he tell the people? He told them, you should be fearful of God like you're fearful of people. Why did he tell them this? He told them because he knew if people were going to be fearful of God like you are people, you're going to be a very good Jew. And Rabbi Eliezer Hagadol was a Tana. He was telling students were probably also Tanaim at that stage. And so you mean to tell me a Tana is telling this? He's telling them, yeah. People are afraid of other people. And you know what? It's something we should take. Now, if you take it on the fear side, take it on the other side. Okay? Fear God like you fear people. Love God like you could love a person. I'll do it the same way. And talk to God like you would talk to your friend. Same thing. Talk to him like your friend. And have pride. This is all the start of the Devikut. I know, we didn't go into the Likutei Moharan, which we're going to do. I spoke with Gedali Fenster just yesterday. Yeah, because he does a lot of Likutei Moharan. He's big on that Breslov stuff. Yeah. And I read the book once. It blew my mind when I read it the first time. Unbelievable. But we're going to do it inside Berlin.
I want to do it.
So I asked him, because he gave a class on Kotel Ruach and Avodah Kasha. He was talking about how the Torah tells them they had Kotel Ruach, a short breath, in Avodah Kasha. And he went in a whole thing about Kotel Ruach, about breathing. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. I asked him for the source. He gave me the source, the Likutei Moharan, and I told him, okay, we'll talk about it in the future. So here we have Baruch Hashem. This is the Ikar. You understand? And look, you were not planning to come. You can't. We learned. This is what the Borei Olam wants. You have no idea how in the Shamayim, how many Gezerot were just taken away because we're learning here. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen v'amen.